Tom Brady and the New England Patriots south trying to shake off the effects of Monday. Brady raring to go for the Patriots against the Miami Dolphins. Vince Young, they've been hot. They play one of the few teams hotter than them. Young and the 5-in-a-row winning Titans are in Indy to play 11 in a row, the winning Colts. All that and more on Sunday NFL Countdown.
Week 13.
December football, where the big boys stand the tallest.
Peyton Manning and the Colts continue their pursuit of perfection.
Play hard, play smart, play together, all right? 1, 2, 3,
But with Vince Young leading the way.
Young firing into the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Tyson! Wow!
The red-hot Titans look to win their 6th in a row.
Jeff Fisher finds a way to get the job done.
Plus,
big news out of the AFC East.
They were obviously the better team. I mean, you guys had to see that.
can New England turn things around against the desperate Dolphins?
We're all searching for the problem.
And
for the Dallas Cowboys, doesn't matter what you do now, matters what happens to you in December.
But will the Cowboys catch a break as they visit the sliding Giants?
What's that mean? Superman?
Week 13 starts right now.
IBM presents Sunday NFL Countdown. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Well, hello, everybody. My goodness, it's December. We know the going is going to get tough. We can only hope and assume that the tough get going. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. Lucky Week 13 at Sunday NFL Countdown. 3 undefeated teams left in the NFL. Colts, Saints, and Coach Ditka on Monday night. I mean, on a roll. You got to tune in then. Not that you don't want to tune in now. You're on a roll. Key, good thing it's the Pac-10, not the Pac-8. You're too young to remember that.
Here's the deal. We're getting ready for a bowl game before the regular season of the NFL season is over.
There you go.
We're going to play in a bowl
You'll
game.
recover. You recover. You got better shirts. You'll recover. Keyshawn Johnson, Chris Carter getting ready for another bowl game.
Smells like roses in my house.
Yes, it does. Tom Jackson?
We're hiring a new coach, so yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's the best I can do.
Oh, good. Mort Adam coming up shortly, our stellar stable of reporters out at the stadium as well. Well, we begin at Indianapolis. Why wouldn't we? Where the Colts have done this before. 11-0 and counting. But here's where only one team has ever been before. 21 straight regular season wins. Indianapolis has won 20 in a row. Now one off the record set by their rivals, the Patriots, just a year ago from 06 to 08. And how tidy is this? Indy's last loss, October 27th, a year ago, to Tennessee. Here come the Titans again, a far cry from the team the Colts spanked this past October, 31-9. The Titans' 0-6 start has been supplanted by 5 straight wins, fueled by the NFL's leading rusher, Chris Johnson, and by Vince Young, 5 for 5 at starting quarterback. But I mean, the Colts wrote the book on winning streaks, didn't they? And will more than take their chances with Peyton Manning and the NFL's top passing attack. To the drum, where Ed Werder beats a steady tune. Hi, Ed.
Good morning, Boomer. Great to be back at the top of the show with you where we both belong. Hey, NFL rushing leader Chris Johnson picked an interesting week to announce he was launching his MVP campaign. Week 5 in Tennessee, the Colts limited Johnson to a career-low 9 carries and a season-low 34 yards. So the Colts weren't exactly thrilled with the timing of this announcement. In fact, Dwight Freeney told me, quote, "I would expect him to think that, but to actually verbalize it is a completely different thing, and we're not interested in helping him in that campaign." The Titans know how to play the Colts. Jeff Fisher told me his team is the last opponent to defeat Indy in a regular season game. Of course, Peyton Manning's won 20 straight since then. And Boomer, this is how he described playing against Manning. He said the defense knows you're playing a computer under center, and you can't trick the computer. You have to manage the computer and find some other way to win the game. This is a different thing.
All right, Ed, he's good to see you at the top of the show, but don't abuse that privilege now. We'll get back to you a little bit later on. We're just going to put this up. It's just fun. It's December. We got 5 games to go. The Colts have already won their division. The Bengals have a stranglehold in their division. Those are the division leaders, your wild card scenario, and, of course, a lot of teams still in the hunt, even the 5 and 6s. They're still going. A lot to think about. But, look, let's go to this game where the Colts are trying to go 12-0. More dangerous, Peyton Manning, the computer coach, or the duo of Chris Johnson, leading rusher in the league, and Vince Young? What do you think?
Well, they're all dangerous, but I'm going to say Johnson and Young because I think 2 are better than 1. And it's witnessed last week by the 98-yard drive. Johnson can be with his legs. Vince can be with his arms and his legs. Now, listen, all the critics know that Vince isn't that good. But all he does is keep winning. Until somebody beats him, he's pretty good.
Well, Coach, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say the guy who's been winning, who's now working on 21 wins in a row if they can get it today, and that's Peyton Manning. This team is not even playing well. I mean, that's the key. They're not playing well. So when I look at how they're winning, you talk about most dangerous. There's nobody more dangerous in this league than Peyton Manning. As long as he keeps using that thing at the line of scrimmage where I call my own plays, that thing that he does up there, that thing that he does up there, as long as he keeps doing that, he's the most dangerous guy, not only today, but in the league every week.
He is very dangerous, but I'm with Coach. 2 is better than 1. When you look at Vince Young and you look at Chris Johnson running the football. Now, Vince Young, on the flip side of things, turned things around. He's doing an excellent job. He's throwing the ball from within the pocket. He's throwing it from outside the pocket. I mean, he's doing everything that you're asking him to do. Now you got Chris Johnson just ripping off yards. In the offseason, he complained that, hey, I want to split time. I don't want to split time. I want to handle the load by myself. How can you argue with the production now? I mean, he said it and he's doing it.
Well, in the game earlier in the season, 128 yards, but they still lost 59-0. So that lets me know that right now in the National Football League, the running game can be a little overrated. You have to go with Peyton Manning. The reason why, last 3 games, Peyton, 2 interceptions in all those games. Team still winning. Peyton Manning is the only one that can overcome those type of mistakes. Johnson's playing at an unbelievable level. But Vince, if he makes mistakes, any mistakes, you know they won't recover.
All I know is Vince Young is ripped off. How many in a row, Tommy?
Well, 9 going back to
9, but yes, he's
with a lot of help.
5 in a row right now.
Ripped off 20 in a row.
There you go.
All I know.
Here's what we do know, and I talked to Jeff too this week, and about the computer. That he said, "Who was that guy? Was it Bobby Fischer that played the computer with the chess?" Because I'm feeling kind of like him. But you know, they were the last one to beat him. But this note on Peyton Manning: just when you watch him, 283 yards passing today, he passes Warren Moon.
Wow.
The 4th all time.
Wow, boy.
Warren's at 49, 325. I mean, okay, like he's still playing great football. Meanwhile, playing great football, not so great on maybe Monday night. Mort, well, no, before we do that, here's the Colts remaining schedule. Why do we want to move along when we have an undefeated team? Titans today. Then the Broncos, Tom, at the Jaguars, home to the Jets, and at the Bills, 2 games that we're sure to see Jim Sorgi play against the AFC. He's certainly in the snow in Buffalo. That would be my guess. Now, the last team to run the table, certainly, are the New England Patriots. Mort, what do we know on them? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Boomer. There was quite a stir last night about Tom Brady's status for today's Patriots-Dolphins game when Las Vegas took that game off the boards, and a lot of speculation about whether Brady was hurt or not. Well, here's what happened, and the Patriots are saying he's definitely going to play and start. They expect him to play the whole game. That's been told to Adam and I. But on Friday, he appeared on the injury report with not just his usual shoulder, but a finger. Now, they may say he was hurt it in Friday's practice. I'm told it was aggravated. That might have been a previous injury. But one thing is clear. He is supposed to start. He is supposed to play the entire game, but we're going to be monitoring it.
Mort, he's fine. Thank you. Joey Porter fatigues. The question, would he be playing? Got a lot of stuff swirling. Wow. There, he's coming in there. He doesn't look fatigued. More on the Dolphins' home game against the Patriots, which is starting up.
Who has that?
Coming up, Manning's magic number.
Got your number. We got your number. We know your game.
How the Titans are using Peyton's 18 to dig their way out of a losing record. And more problems in Pittsburgh?
There's no question that Ben is the heart and soul of this football team.
But Coach, will the latest locker room friction hurt the Steelers? Plus, he's ferocious on the field.
I'm a hunter. I want to go hit.
But find out why the Cowboys' DeMarcus Ware has a story to tell off it.
There's a perception of everybody in the NFL gets into trouble and does bad things. You know, some guys are family men.
Live NHL on ESPN America. Catch a midweek doubleheader from both sides of the border. The Canadians make the short trip to Ottawa.
A spectacular goal!
Before the Ducks entertain the Stars in Anaheim. An NHL doubleheader Wednesday on ESPN America.
Speed, strength, everything you could want in a wide receiver.
He's so fast that when you run the play action, before you can react to it not being a run, Andre Johnson's already about 10 to 12 yards down the field. Feed the horse, because that's him.
Quick throw left side. Caught! Touchdown, Andre Johnson. He comes down with it somehow, some way.
NFL on ESPN America.
They say I'm explosive for my size. Watch out, kids. I'm explosive for any size. Pick me.
Melky Cabrera of the New York Yankees.
He's hitting a lot of line drives. Some of his line drives go out of the ballpark.
It is gone! Oh, what a shot! The Milkman delivers!
He's been aggressive. He's played extremely hard, and we're very happy with what we're getting from him.
Game-tying single for Melky Cabrera for night-getting magic.
Line drive left center field. The game is going to be over. Melky Cabrera with the game winner.
Melky Cabrera has won this game on a single to right center field. Another walk-off for Melky. What a year he is having.
For 364 days a year, they fight side by side. But not this Saturday. Army faced Navy for an incredible 110th time. This is a rivalry like no other. Army-Navy, live Saturday on ESPN America.
The NFL Countdown is presented by IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit ibm.com/smarterplanet. And in part by Verizon Wireless, America's most reliable wireless network. And your Lincoln Mercury dealer, bringing you the latest in luxury and technology.
The 1-10 Rams take on the 4-7 Bears, their first visit to the Windy City since 2003. Jay Cutler has certainly struggled lately, throwing 15 interceptions in the last 7 games.
Cutler takes the snap. He lets it fly. It is deflected and intercepted.
Steven Jackson remains the Rams' best defensive threat, scoring a touchdown in 4 straight games. In an NFC South rematch, 4-7 Panthers host the 1-10 Buccaneers. The quarterbacks will be different this time around. Matt Moore takes over for Jake Delhomme, out with a broken finger on his throwing hand. Bucs rookie Josh Freeman has looked good. He's 1-3 as a starter. In Jacksonville, the battle of the Buts. The 5-6 Texans face a 6-5 Jags team going through their own roller coaster season. In 6 wins, Jacksonville has scored 157 points, while putting up only 45 points in 5 losses.
We play to win the game, gentlemen.
We have a coach that said that once. Thanks, Boom. Now our tip drill. 8-3 Cincinnati, fresh off completing their perfect 6-0 sweep of the AFC North Division, play at home today against 2-9 Detroit. The Lions have dropped 17 in a row on the road. Cincinnati gets Cedric Benson back at running back a week after recently acquired Larry Johnson, Grandma Mod, for 100 yards, meaning 3 different Bengals backs are fresh for a C-note this season. Less wear and tear on Carson Palmer's arm these days? That may be, but key, Palmer is against the Lions' pass defense, which happens to be ranked dead last.
Well, you know what, Boom? Hopefully the Detroit Lions watched plenty of film and studied up on Carson Palmer. When Carson Palmer takes the football and takes that right hand and shoves it in the belly of the running back to his right, it's probably a run. If he takes both hands and shoves in that belly to the right, he'll pull it out, and most likely it's a pass. So hopefully they've been studying.
All right, Key, good tip there. 5-6 San Francisco is trying to stay afloat in the NFC West, as they're just 2 back of Arizona, who they host next Monday night. But first things first, San Francisco must sweep the 4-7 Seahawks in Seattle. You'll remember the Niners beat the Seahawks week 2, 23-10. Frank Gore in that game, 207 yards. But the Seahawks also remember linebacker Patrick Willis knocked Matt Hasselbeck out of the game, and the next 2 with a shot at his ribs. Coach, Sean Hill was starting at quarterback in September for the Niners. Now it's Alex Smith. Different offense these days for your old player?
It really is. There's an old saying for a coach, if you don't listen to your players, they won't listen to you. And Mike Singletary has listened to his players. Alex Smith has come in, Michael Crabtree, they want to run more of the spread. Look for a little bit more of the spread offense, but you're not going to get a steady diet, but they are going to mix a lot of spread in today.
All right, Coach. Well, Michael Vick back in Atlanta. We hadn't played since just before Christmas at 06. A big deal. Philadelphia in Atlanta. One of the games we'll be talking about when we come back.
What happened to the New York Football Giants?
A giant slide has the G-Men in playoff peril. So TJ and Key, can Big Blue turn their season around?
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
And the pressure to hide an injury.
Do I want to stretch the truth a little bit? Do I want to not tell them everything so I can play?
The dangerous dilemma that's playing out for NFL players every week. Coming up.
PJ! Woo! Great tip drill.
That was.
That's the best of your career.
No, that wasn't.
That was tight.
That wasn't just a tip.
That was good.
You should make some.
In 2008, Jonathan Stewart scored as many touchdowns as Adrian Peterson. And only 8 running backs averaged more yards per carry. One of them was teammate D'Angelo Williams, who pounded a punishing 5.5 yards an attempt. Williams and Stewart smashed and dashed for 2,300 yards and 28 touchdowns. In 2009, they'll look to leave an even bigger mark on the league, most likely a bruise.
David Amber, joined by a Hall of Famer, the Senator Frank Mahovlich. Very memorable career you put together. Is there one moment that sort of resonates the most with you, that stands out?
There's a couple of them. Like the first Stanley Cup I won was exciting. And the 71 series here in Montreal, because I got traded, you know, and then it's the second time I was traded, so you have doubts. And I broke the record that year for points in the Stanley Cup finals. And Montreal, missing the playoffs the year before, came in and wins the Stanley Cup for the next year. So that was, I mean, it couldn't have been more exciting.
You had obviously a great run with the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. And when you think back to those teams in the 60s, how do you think that team would stack up against like the Habs in the 70s?
Well, you know, 67, our centennial year, and we beat Montreal that year.
Look at the Leafs. Bob Perry shot. 27, Muhammad.
We had a great team. We had the discipline. We played more of a defensive game. The Montreal Canadiens did. The games were all close, but we played that tight game. If we won close games.
Live Thursday Night Football on ESPN America. It's Turnpike rivalry time as the AFC's oldest foes meet in Cleveland.
Big Ben, long count, he's going to throw it. He pumps, he fires, touchdown Steelers.
The Super Bowl champion Steelers enter the dog pound to battle the Browns. Live NFL Thursday night on ESPN America.
Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM.
Donovan McNabb, strong late last week as the Eagles came from behind to defeat Washington. The Eagles in Atlanta, one of the games we're looking at. Right now, though, Merrill Hodge, Matthew Berry, start him and sit him. Fellas, it's lucky week 13. Good luck.
Boom, thank you. We're going to need it, or you're going to need it. I'm going to let you start right away. Good luck. Go ahead. Who are we going to start this week to help our fantasy owners out there?
Kyle Orton. I know he struggled recently, but since he played on Thanksgiving, he's had a few extra days to rest, prepare for Kansas City, and the Chiefs, 30th against the pass, Merrill, and they've given up 5 touchdown passes in just the last 2 weeks. Plus, Orton does have double-digit fantasy points in 2 of his last 3 games.
Yeah, I always get nervous inside the division because statistics kind of go the wayside. But if we're going to start Kyle Orton, one thing they are doing a much better job, they are pushing the ball down the field better. Good job of getting your receiver free by bringing him in motion. Look at the good base, good footwork. Step up in the pocket, down, drive the ball down the field to your wide receiver between 2 defenders. Broncos doing a better job of this. They'll need to do that today. All right, any more starts we have?
Yeah, Jason Avant, who's available in a ton of leagues. You know, he's been terrific lately. At least 90 yards receiving or a touchdown in 3 straight games, and that was with Deshaun Jackson. Jackson's now out, so more balls for Avant. Then look at the matchup. Falcons, 27th against the pass. And in fact, since week 7 when Brian Williams went down, only 3 teams in the NFL giving up more passing yards per game.
Clearly love that. All right, give us some sits. Tell me you're not sitting, Shockey.
I am.
Please
Redskins allowing the 5th fewest fantasy points to opposing tight ends. Brandon Jacobs is on my bench. You know, he's averaging under 4 yards a carry. Dallas has not given up a rushing touchdown on the road.
The only danger,
running back since week 1. Yes.
Right. The only danger here is they've also had 10 days rest. They'll try to get back to physical offense. That means Jacobs may have a few more carries. Roddy White, you're sitting Roddy White?
I'm sitting Roddy White against Asante Samuel and the Eagles. You betcha.
My goodness.
I don't like it.
Those are your sits, a lot to talk about. And for your Verizon wireless users, if you want to manage your fantasy teams, you can do that with ESPN's MVP on Vcast. Anything else from you?
Fantasy football now, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, ESPN2, and online at ESPN.com. We'll get you everything you need to do.
All right, Boom. Back to you, buddy.
Countdown Daily. Join us. You learn everything you need to know. Your favorite teams. IBM is your team covered every day with breaking news, game previews, post-game recaps on ESPN.com. We will be back.
That's Jared Allen there. It doesn't appear that he wants to be involved in the main event, but he does a lot.
They're all greased up. Got skills.
And he'll be in it later on Countdown.
So you're confirming his return. Or you're not.
We're confirming Mort and Adam are ready to provide you with the latest inside info.
Well, we got lots of items cooking up here today.
Keep it here for the latest Sunday headlines next. Stardom Sit-Em is brought to you by Verizon Wireless, America's most reliable wireless network. NFL.com. Vote for the 2010 NFL Pro Bowl exclusively at NFL.com/Pro Bowl.
At 6'4" and 262 pounds, Cowboys linebacker DeMarcus Ware is an opposing offense's nightmare. Solid against the run and the pass, Ware is a dominating pass rusher, recording 53.5 sacks in 4 NFL seasons. His 14 sacks were the 3rd most in the NFL in 2007, and his 20 sacks led the league in 2008.
Manning trying to go quickly. The throw downfield is to Reggie. He's got it 40. Touchdown! Manning looks, pumps, throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Marvin Harrison! Peyton on first down. They air it out deep, intended for Reggie Wayne. Reggie's got it! That was a perfect throw. Manning takes the snap, sets up, throws downfield, open is a dive. Touchdown, Joseph Adai!
NFL on ESPN America.
Need to find tickets for the big game or concert? At SeatWave.com, there are over 1 million tickets on sale now for all the latest live entertainment. And with all tickets 100% guaranteed, you'll find just the tickets you're after so you can catch all the action live. Buy and sell tickets at SeatWave.com for live American football, Six Nations rugby, Paul McCartney in concert, and many, many more. SeatWave.com, the fan-to-fan ticket exchange.
The beautiful islands of Mallorca and Ibiza are the capitals of slingshot in the Mediterranean. Some of the best slingers in the region gather in one of the most important meets of the year in these idyllic islands. Think it's easy, huh? Give it a shot. Yeah, I thought so. In this traditional competition, participants look to hit the targets for points. They get 1 point for hitting the wooden target, but the real goal is to hit the metal bullseye in the middle. Those 2 points are crucial, as they can mean the difference between victory or defeat for their respective teams. So after a long day of intense competition, both teams sit down to a wonderful paella and celebrate the day's events in joyful fashion. Stay tuned for more amazing games here on ESPN.
Monday Night Football, live on ESPN America. It's December. It's Lambeau. It's why we love the National Football League.
Hit as he throws. Intercepted.
The Green Bay Packers
He may throw the big it.
host the Baltimore Ravens.
Touchdown!
Monday Night Football, live on ESPN America.
Kevin, don't do that, man. Come on. I got this. I got this. Screw up your hand, man. Turn it up. Turn it up. You're too close. This thing's gonna crush you. No way, Kevin. Are you crazy? Maybe. Do it. Maybe I'm something else. No way.
The Steelers' Hines Ward apologizes to his team for controversial remarks about Ben Roethlisberger.
We were frustrated. I said, let me clear air with him just to make sure we're straight.
Raider Nation wants change. A billboard outside of Oakland is asking Al Davis to step down as general manager.
Jets QB Mark Sanchez sprained his right knee diving for a first down versus the Bills.
I love the kid, but he's got to grow up. He's our knucklehead, and we love him. But man.
Well, knuckleheads, what a perfect segue to Morton Adam. Fellas, what do you got?
Very good segue. Thanks very much, Boom. Appreciate that. Mark Sanchez, as it turns out, has a slightly torn PCL. He should be able to play a week from today against the Buccaneers, but he will have to wear a knee brace, Mort.
Well, Adam, remember when Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was fined at least $100,000 for violating the gag order by saying that revenue sharing was on its way out? Turns out he was tipping the owner's hand in a significant move that can arguably impact the flow of money to potential free agent players and competitive balance. The NFL has notified the NFL Players Association that effective next March, owners will pull the plug on the $100 million per year supplemental revenue sharing program that has subsidized lower revenue clubs. By Tuesday, the Players Union will challenge the move with a special master, claiming that the owners cannot terminate the revenue sharing model without the union's approval because it was adopted into the 2006 labor agreement, which doesn't expire until March 2011. Now, management counters that the supplemental model pertained only to capped years. Next year is uncapped. And, the lower revenue clubs won't be forced to spend a minimum amount of money.
Lots of talk about revenue sharing and lots of talk about Bill Cowher, who now is gearing up to come back to the NFL next season and is contemplating how he would structure his organization if and when he does return. And the popular destination for Cowher continues to be Carolina, where John Fox right now appears to be on the bubble. This makes sense, too. The Panthers hired a new president just before the start of the season, who obviously used to be the athletic director at Wofford College. Bill Cowher's daughter, freshman at Wofford College. Where do the Panthers have training camp? Wofford College. Connect the dots. Bill Cowher looks like he could be coming back to the NFL next year, and Carolina continues to be the likely destination.
And owner Jerry Richardson, a big benefactor of Wofford College. And, it's been a foregone conclusion that Jim Zorn is coaching his final games with the Redskins. And last week's 27-24 loss to the Eagles reinforced that forthcoming decision. Zorn's mismanagement of the final 2 minutes cost the Skins at least a field goal attempt. the margin of defeat, and team sources says that Vinny Serrato, the Redskins VP of football operations, privately blasted Zorn. It probably doesn't help the day either, Adam, that the Skins face the undefeated Saints, coached by a defense coached by Greg Williams, the guy they passed over in favor of Zorn.
Not good. We saw the Eagles already lock up Winston Justice and Brent Selleck this past week to long-term contract extensions. Andy Reid is next. The two sides are very close to a long-term contract extension that could be announced as early as this week. Look for this deal to get done. Shouldn't be an issue, and Reid will not be going anywhere. He's already the longest tenured coach in the NFC. Of course, the Eagles today play the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan has been told by doctors he's expected to miss multiple games with his turf toe injury, though he thinks he could come back sooner.
Right.
And the Falcons have already deactivated Michael Turner for today, and they also will deactivate wide receiver Michael Jenkins. Ankle injuries on both. Jason Snelling starts for Michael Turner. Tommy?
Later on Sunday Countdown, there's been a lot of talk this week about players disclosing injuries. I'm going to tell you why. If I was still playing, I'd still be lying.
Adrian Peterson, one of the greatest football players I've ever seen. I'm going to show you something that he has to learn. It's the first thing I learned when I started playing football.
And chemistry is huge between the receiver and his quarterback.
Definitely.
Let's take a look at Hines Ward and Big Ben. A closer look.
Bill Belichick, he's been really successful in the National Football League. I'm going to let you know a move he made earlier in the year, I believe forfeited his chance for a fourth Lombardi trophy. And it's not the 4th and 2. More of that good stuff on Countdown.
ESPN America is your home for live college football.
Holy cow, what a play.
Every Saturday, join the Game Day crew as they travel across North America.
Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Covering the best matchups in the college football calendar.
Touchdown, Oklahoma. What a great call.
College Football Saturdays on ESPN America.
Starward Preferred Guest presents a spectacular winter promotion offering up to 40% off at participating hotels across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East when paying with your MasterCard. Enjoy your stay at Sheraton, 4 Points by Sheraton, W, Aloft, Le Méridien, Westin, the Luxury Collection, and St. Regis. Book now and pay with your MasterCard. More details on spg.com/MasterCardTV.
For the widest choice of official North American sports merchandise, for the perfect gift to collect or just to look good and support your team, visit espnamerica.com.
Making sports history in hockey as Jackie Robinson did in baseball, Willie O'Ree of the Boston Bruins, a native of Fredericton, New Brunswick, is the first Negro to play in the National Hockey League.
Willie, Barack Obama's election, what do you think it could do as far as helping diversify the NHL even further?
Well, I just think it's just tremendous. First of all, to have a black man in the White House, and not only United States and Canada have been watching, but everybody from all over the world. And I think that the diversity program, I think there's going to be more kids now that yes, we can. I mean, there's going to be boys and girls that can come out and they're going to say, I can do anything that I set my mind to do. Here's a man that's, is an African-American and is the president of the United States. I mean, it's a great thing, and I'm just happy that I'm alive to have watched this and be a part of what's going on.
For the widest choice of official North American sports merchandise, for the perfect gift to collect or just to look good and support your team, visit espnamerica.com.
Monday Night Football, another good one. 6-5 Baltimore Ravens need to start piling up wins. Green Bay Packers have done that. After a 4-4 start, they've won 3 in a row. Lambeau Field. A look ahead towards the Tundra at Lambeau. Our trio in the booth that's never frozen. Mike Tirico, Ron Jaworski, John Gruden. Michael.
Boomer, thanks. We checked for you. The Tundra is freezing, and the games are important in the cold weather in Green Bay, with the Ravens coming in to take on the Packers, a Packer team, John, that's won their last 3, really turning it around with their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is on schedule to break every Packer passing record of all time. That includes Brett Favre and Bart Starr. Man, is he impressive.
And when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they've gotten back to what they like to do, and that's run the football with a power running game, that being Ray Rice and LaRon McClain. With the game on the line last week against the Steelers, it shows how valuable Ray Rice is as a receiver. Split him out wide, got a matchup linebacker, completed the pass. In the passing game, Ray Rice, very important.
See you Monday night from Lambeau, 8:30 Eastern.
All right, guys, and that Packer Hall of Fame is, I mean, it's not quite Canton, but just about everybody in Canton is in the Packer Hall of Fame if you think about it. Monday night schedule begins at 3:30 in the afternoon, and, of course, at 7 Eastern time, Monday Night Countdown, 90 minutes to get you set for the Ravens at the Packers.
Still playing perfect.
Drew Brees right now is playing at a level, he's Peyton Manning-like.
So, Coach, let's take a ride down the Saints' schedule and see where they could face any potholes to perfection. And this feared runner has a flaw.
He fumbled again. I don't believe in dropping the football. That either by air or by handoff. I just don't believe in it.
Will Adrian Peterson's fumbling catch up with the Vikings?
Monday Night Football on ESPN America. Join us every Monday night for live NFL. Get ready for the big game with Monday Night Countdown. Then it's showtime as two more teams step onto the gridiron.
What a play!
For the Monday Night Showdown.
No way! Touchdown, Arizona!
Monday Night Football on ESPN America. Go to espnamerica.com for schedules and information.
So are you on shop.nhl.com?
Yeah, Mom, ready when you are.
Well, we need a Crosby jersey for Uncle Todd because he loves the Penguins, you know, and a Caps tee for Jeff, and a Kings backpack for Wendy since she moved, and 2 Blackhawks jackets for the twins who are now in college, a Toronto hat for Grandpa Benny, a pet jersey for Bruiser, a putter for your father, and a onesie for the baby.
Is that all?
Well, a gift card for somebody.
At shop.nhl.com, you'll find the largest online selection of NHL products anywhere. Everything on your list this holiday is at shop.nhl.com.
Am I forgetting anybody?
Manning takes the snap. Manning back to throw. Has time. Looks. Fires one. Play fake. Manning to throw to the end zone. Touchdown! Manning. Gonna be hit. Gonna be sacked. No, he got out of it. Now he fires downfield. And it is caught. Manning looks left. Lobs it left. Throws it wide open. Touchdown, Giants!
NFL on ESPN America.
Live NHL on ESPN America. Catch a midweek doubleheader from both sides of the border. The Canadians make the short trip to Ottawa.
A spectacular goal!
Before the Ducks entertain the Stars in Anaheim. An NHL doubleheader Wednesday on ESPN America.
Through 11 games, these are the most points scored in the history of the NFL. 2 years ago, the Patriots had 442 points. Tom Brady, Randy Moss, they end up with 75 touchdowns. The next most through 11 games, the 1950 LA Rams. Norm Van Brocklin, Bob Waterfield, Crazy Legs Hirsch, Tom Fears, all of them greats. The 2000 defending champ, greatest show on turf, St. Louis Rams. Kurt Warner and company, they were the third most through 11 games. And the fourth most, these Saints, 407 points through 11 games. All of them wins. And of course, those 407 points include the 38 they hung on New England in New Orleans' signature Monday night win. Drew Brees threw 5 TD passes to 5 different receivers as they blasted the Patriots 38-17. By the way, 19 different Saints have scored a touchdown. The Saints are now 11-0, and if they win again at 3-8 Washington, the Saints will wrap up their first goal, the NFC South, far cry from 8-8 last year. When things were different a year ago, these Skins beat the Saints 29-24. Washington does play tough defense. Their pass defense rated first in football. But the Skins, they can't score. They average under 16 points a game. The Saints sure do, 37 a game. Let's absolutely, positively head to FedEx Field. And Bob Holtzman. Bob?
Well, Chris, Superman faces his kryptonite today in 3 career games against the Redskins. Drew Brees, 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions, and he'll face a highly motivated Redskins defense today. Cornerback Fred Smoot told me this is our Super Bowl. Here's what the Redskins have planned defensively. They're going to try to do something they've never done before. Smoot said every time Brees comes to the line of scrimmage, they want him to see the same thing. So whether they're in man or zone, blitzing or not, they will line up the same way every time, hoping to cut down on Brees' adjustments. Now, there is some concern around the Saints that there may be a little bit of a hangover after that big Monday night win. Linebacker Scott Shanley told me the first meeting they had this week was all about digesting that Patriots game and moving on. And Chris, Sean Payton's teams do have a history of playing big primetime games and then coming out flat the following week.
Well, I mean, it's always interesting, no matter who you are, Bob. Thank you very much. I mean, a huge win and then short week on the road against a good defensive team. Here's the Saints schedule, all right? At the Redskins today, at the Falcons, and you heard Matt Ryan say he's hopeful to come back. We'll see. Home to the Cowboys in a night game, Saturday night game. Home to the Buccaneers, and then at the Panthers. So there you go. That's the schedule. One little subplot on this game first before we get going. Greg Williams thought he interviewed 4 times for that Redskins job when Joe Gibbs left and he was defensive coordinator. Didn't get it. He's defensive coordinator of the Saints. He might have something rolled up. All right, bad about it. So let's go through the schedule. You guys all think they can go undefeated? Do you?
Yeah.
Let's go game by game. What are the keys?
I'll start with today's game, and Jason Campbell, the quarterback of the Washington Redskins, under tremendous pressure, not only from the defense in the front 7 of the Saints, but Drew Brees and the pace at which he scores. Reminds me actually of the Lakers offensively. They run off the made basket. That's what the Saints are able to do.
Tommy, I'm going to take next week's game at Atlanta. Mike Smith, 12-1 at the current schedule with the Falcons the last 2 years at home. But Drew Brees, you just don't have enough cover people. Unless you can go 4 deep in the secondary, the inability to be able to stop him, it's apparent week after week. A rematch of week number 7 where they had 437 yards of offense.
Well, you know what I'm going to look at? I'm going to look at the Dallas Cowboys, as Boom likes to say, a team in the month of November that wins a lot of games. Well, they're going to play them in the month of December. And I think when you look at this football organization and this team, New Orleans Saints, their staple in this organization around the league is they wore bags over their heads. Now they're trying to go 16-0.
And I'll go on to Tampa Bay, and I'm going to say this like I said about any of these games. Right now, Sean Payton is making all the right moves. He's using his personnel as good as could be used. This football team, there's no way you can defend what they're doing right now. Nobody has enough people to cover. Like Chris said, you need 4 corners that can cover people. This is a good football team.
All right, guys, you got them 15-0. And now here's that last game. At Carolina, who had a lead. They ran well on the Saints, who came from behind a whip. Can they hold the ball for 42 minutes on the ground? Will A.J. Feely, who almost beat the Patriots 2 years ago, will he be the quarterback? But if the Saints are 15-0, hard to imagine them losing that. But Carolina could. All right, it's settled. They're 16-0.
Yeah, might be playing for the coach's job right
now. Well,
listen to Mort.
Well, there we go. So they're undefeated. All right, now, the NFC playoff picture. The Saints can win the division, as we said, with a win today. The Vikings are in really good shape since they swept the Packers in their division. Dallas leads. The Cardinals lead. Then you see wild card and the teams in the hunt. It's a long way to go. We just thought we'd put it up there. We'll be back.
Michael Vick returns to Atlanta.
I would have never envisioned myself playing for any other team in this league.
What did you bring him here for? He was going to be that final step to getting you to the Super Bowl.
The Countdown crew gives you their take on the Michael Vick experiment. And
Touchdown! Mr. Everything is back!
it could be a special day for LT. See what he must do to surpass the legendary Jim Brown.
Live Thursday Night Football on ESPN America.
Touchdown!
It's Turnpike rivalry time as the AFC's oldest foes meet in Cleveland.
Big Ben, long count, he's going to throw it. He pumps, he fires, touchdown Steelers!
The Super Bowl champion Steelers enter the dog pound to battle the Browns. Live NFL, Thursday night on ESPN America.
In the beautiful city of Rio de Janeiro, beauty and the good life can only be overshadowed by one thing. There's no doubt that football is king. And if you want proof, go to Copacabana Beach. But footy is one of the most popular sports in the South American nation. Footy has been a mainstay in Rio beaches for over a generation. The sport is played with only 2 players per team and with the same field regulations and concepts as volleyball, except that in footy, you can't use your hands. The sport is the perfect blend of individual skill and teamwork. The combination of both has generated a great deal of interest and passion for the sport, something very common within Brazilian sports scene. Success or failure strictly depends on the team's overall skill level and the intelligence of the players to place the ball in space, as spiking the ball is both illegal and virtually impossible due to the height of the net. Each point begins with a serve as the ball is placed on a small sandhill. From then on, the action is constant as the best of the best show off their skill. The style and grace that each player possesses at the highest level awes even the most skilled and passionate of followers. And trust me, these fans are passionate. Footy, which started out as a game played between young cariocas who spent their days on the beach, is now one of the fastest growing professional sports in the world, providing an even brighter prospect for future generations of players. Stay tuned for more amazing games right here on ESPN.
For 364 days a year, they fight side by side. But not this Saturday. Army faced Navy for an incredible 110th time. This is a rivalry like no other. Army-Navy, live Saturday on ESPN America.
Chad Henne, beautiful day. Mid-70s, Miami. It stopped raining down there. Henne, Dolphins trying to upend the Patriots. So our weekly look around the stadiums at December weather, always interesting. Here's ABC Good Morning America's Marisol Castro.
Thanks, Chris. It's always great to see you and be here. We take a look at the lower 48. It's a prelude to winter, some very chilly temperatures and some precipitation across the land. We start off in Kansas City as the Denver Broncos take on the Chiefs for an afternoon game. It will be cool, 37, and we are expected to see some drizzle. Winds will be light, however, out of the southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Some other games we're focusing on: the 49ers at the Seahawks, 33 degrees, chilly, but the wind will really be a factor in today's game, 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then in East Rutherford, New Jersey, as the Cowboys take on the Giants. What a difference a day makes. No snow today, but it will be very chilly, 35 degrees. Chris, back to you.
Okay, Marisol, but not bad considering December, and of course never bad in there in the drum. Keith Bullock, Titans. Can they upend the Colts? He's dancing like he's hoping to.
Turn up the music. That's what he said.
We'll be back.
In the great history of the Minnesota Vikings, this team has had many fine tacklers. But now it has a man who can not only tackle, but intercept, and like a fool, throw it downfield. The hike! The story's coming later.
Plus,
we're all searching for the problem.
Searching for their swagger?
It's gut check time. Either you put up or you shut up.
So, Coach, can New England still be considered an elite team? We're live in Miami for the Patriots and Dolphins. Next.
One of the fastest players in the NFL, Reggie Bush needs only one broken tackle to break off a big run. His explosive flair isn't limited to the ground. Bush has more career yards receiving than rushing. And with 3 punt return touchdowns in 2008, he may be the most versatile weapon in the NFL today.
There's a drive to left field, way back, and it is long gone. Jason Bay's second home run of the day.
Swinging a high fly ball. This is well hit to center. Gardner at the wall, and that ball is gone. It's gone. He hit it out. This game is tied with 2 down in the bottom of the ninth. And listen to this place.
Melky Cabrera of the New York Yankees.
He's hitting a lot of line drives. Some of his line drives go out of the ballpark.
It is gone! Oh, what a shot! The Milkman delivers.
He's been aggressive. He's played extremely hard, and we're very happy with what we're getting from him.
Game-tying single for Melky Cabrera for Naked Magic.
Line drive left center field. The game is going to be over. Melky Cabrera with the game winner. Melky Cabrera has won this game on a single to right center field.
Another walk-off for Melky. What a year he is having.
Tony and Mike. Enough said. Pardon the interruption. Weeknights on ESPN America.
Enormous mistakes on our part. It turned into huge plays. You can't make those kind of mistakes against a good football team, and we made too many of them. They were obviously the better team tonight. They coached better, they played better.
And they put it to us tonight, simple as that.
We were all searching for the problem.
The 1st of December and covered with snow. So was the turnpike from Stockbridge to Boston. White stuff in New England today, but the Patriots are in South Florida, hoping not to get snowed under on the road as they did in New Orleans on Monday night. In true road games this season, the Patriots are surprising 0-4. Today, at 7-4 overall, they try to break through against the 5-6 Miami Dolphins, and a win would pretty much salt away the AFC East, which remember the Dolphins won a year ago. Miami's biggest problem? The Wildcat, of course, just down to just Ricky Williams with Ronnie Brown out. That's true. But the fourth quarters have killed Miami. They have allowed 134 points in the final quarter alone. Worst in franchise history already. Sunning himself in Miami, our Michael Smith. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Chris. And as you know, it's never a dull moment with the New England Patriots when it comes to injuries. And this morning's intrigue around the injury report is with Tom Brady. The quarterback usually is on the injury report with a right shoulder probable designation. Friday, he popped up with a finger injury, but I'm told by my Patriot sources that he's fine. He is active. He will play today. They're downplaying the significance of the injury, although his velocity and accuracy are certainly something to keep an eye on today. The Saints last week had 8 eyes at all times on Randy Moss and Wes Welker. They doubled him throughout the game, something the Dolphins did not do much of in the first meeting, but will do extensively today, and hope that the rush gets home and that Brady holds the ball longer than he wants to. That's their plan on defense. That Miami Dolphins pass rush will have Joey Porter, who was questionable with the knee, but is active.
All right, Michael, thank you. Joey Porter, it's a game that he points to, and of course we'll keep an eye on the Tom Brady situation, although, maybe much ado about nothing. But not much ado about nothing is the Patriots, they don't lose many games like they did on Monday night. They were blown out. Are they still an elite team, Chris? What do you think?
Well, I don't think they're an elite team right now because I know people in New England don't want to mention it, but I believe the Pats, I believe they're rebuilding. And the reason why I believe they're rebuilding is because the move that Bill Belichick made at the beginning of September, when he traded away Richard Seymour for a not 2010, but a 2011 first-round draft pick, he let us know defensively he's trying to retool this defense. They still create a lot of turnovers, but they're in the bottom of the National Football League as far as sacks. We know they run a 34 defense. You have to have the nose. They have Will Fork right in there. But they don't have a Merriman, Ware. They don't have a difference maker at that 34 position who can put pressure on the quarterback. That's why I believe they're not an elite team right now, and that's why, Tommy, I believe they're rebuilding.
Well, Cece, I don't think you can be elite if you don't have an elite defense. And I thought that what we saw on Monday night with 5:38 left in that game, and we had not seen that before, that waving of the white flag was not about the offense and Tom Brady and Moss and Wes Welker. That was about the defense. As Key likes to say so often, they were getting ready to have 50 hung on them. And they realized that and had to change what happened at the end of that football game. As they go down the stretch, I think when they meet a quarterback who really knows what he's doing with the football, they know it's going to be a struggle defensively for them.
Well, I think they're done right now in terms of being an elite football team, but they're still an elite organization.
Yeah.
And they can be dangerous in the right spot. When they get into the playoffs, they can be very dangerous because by then you would hope that Bill Belichick, the mastermind that he is, put things together to try to help this defense out. When I say elite teams, the New Orleans Saints, the San Diego Chargers, the Minnesota Vikings, you just said it a minute ago, Tommy, with no defense, you can't be elite. That's why I don't have the Colts in there.
You guys have all hit it. When I was a kid, I used to go to movies, and then this is when 3D came out. So you come in the theater, they hand you a pair of glasses, put the glasses on to watch the movie. Well, now when you go to watch the Patriots, you put the glasses on so you don't have to watch our defense. It's that
You know, I was up in New England this week, and here's my gut feeling. I think they are surprised, really, because remember, a few weeks ago they played the Colts, didn't quite do it. Did the Saints? No. They're surprised with the gap between the very best and them where they are now. However, to your point, the first goal every year is to win the division. They win today, they can do it. They'll be favored to win their last 5 games. Whether they win them or all, we'll see. If they win it and get going and get some steam, head of steam going, let's see what they'll be like in January. They know to win it all, they got to be better than what they've shown thus far. We'll be back.
To tell or not to tell?
We're going to play. We're going to lie to the coaches.
You feel better about playing hurt.
The pressure on players to disclose injuries or keep it to themselves.
Do I want to stretch the truth a little bit? Do I want to not tell them everything so I can play?
And Big Blue on the brink.
This is a must-win game for the Giants. If they don't win this, their season is slowly slipping away.
What will today bring as the Cowboys ride into town?
Dallas, congratulations. They're champs again of November. Here comes December.
Could it be the start of another Big D December disaster? And it's a catchy little number.
Hey, number 18, meet number 10, 10, 10.
Country music star Martina McBride belts out her next chart topper on Countdown.
Florence, a city rich in history, one of the staples of Western civilization where romanticism and art go hand in hand, usually forgets all about those qualities for one day every year. Steeped in almost 500 years of tradition and described loosely as a mix between football and rugby, with a good dose of bare-knuckle boxing added to the mix, calcio storico is not a game for those who are squeamish at the sight of blood. It's a sport where, for 70 minutes, friends become enemies. Calcio storico can be traced back as far as 16th century Florence. At that time, several soldiers used this game to train for combat. The only rule was, and still is, that you cannot hit an unconscious player. Fair enough. Over the centuries, not a lot has changed in the way calcio storico is played. But then again, that's where the beauty in this bloody spectacle lies. As players do whatever is humanly possible to score against opponents who will do the impossible to stop them. The game is fairly simple. Score on your opponent's goal and avoid being scored in any way humanly possible. Did I mention bare-knuckle boxing? Defense in this match is also rewarded, as any attempt on goal that sails high results in a half point for the defending team. Like any other action-packed encounter, the final minutes lead to an emotional ending. So amidst the traditional costumes, blood, and team-coloured smoke bombs, the battle comes to an end in front of thousands who celebrate the city's colourful and unique past. Stay tuned for more amazing games here on ESPN.
For 364 days a year, they fight side by side. But not this Saturday. Army faced Navy for an incredible 110th time. This is a rivalry like no other. Army-Navy, live Saturday on ESPN America.
Welcome back to Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM.
This hour on Sunday NFL Countdown. DeMarcus Ware dominates on Sundays.
I'm in my zone right now.
But the Cowboys linebacker has had an emotional path to fatherhood. And the NFL is taking a harder line on concussions.
You know, it's a very serious thing, and I don't think it should be taken lightly.
Will some players start keeping quiet in order to stay on the field? Coming up.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We return now to the unbeaten Colts and the other AFC South team that's been unbeaten since the end of October. That would be the Titans. Of course, Tennessee's 0-6 start has understandably obscured this fact since they're still below 500. As number 18 Peyton Manning stands in the way of what the Titans hope is a miracle run at the postseason, ESPN.com's Greg Garber taps into an unlikely reason for the Music City revival.
It was a number that had haunted the Titans for years. But now, after an unlikely series of events in the Music City, it just might be the inspiration for a team's dramatic turnaround.
Fires left, touchdown! And the blowout is now totally out of control.
When the Titans lost 59-0 on a snowy October Sunday in New England, it was the worst NFL loss in more than 3 decades.
It was so bad. It really, literally, we were on the sideline just kind of almost laughing about it because it was so comical that we were playing that bad.
The bye week came at a good time, so we were able to regroup.
After the humiliation, Titans head coach Jeff Fisher was scheduled to make an appearance for Nashville's Rocketown charity.
They actually gave me an out the day before. It said Monday after the New England loss, he said, you don't want to come, you don't have to. And I said, no, I'm going to be there.
Would you please welcome Coach Jeff Fisher?
Thank you. At the event, Fisher introduced former Colts coach Tony Dungy with an astonishing tribute to a hated arch rival.
Am I the only one that's hot, or is it? Because I mean, I didn't take my flu shot yet, and I don't know if it's this 0-6 thing, but I am hot.
Pulls his tie up, takes his shirt off. Manning jersey.
I just want to feel like a winner, so.
Oh my God, the place went crazy.
Nashville studio executive John McBride, a big Tony Dungy fan, was in the audience that day with his wife, country music star Martina McBride.
In the room, honestly, it came across as just a sense of humor and respect for Tony, and that's how we all took it.
I thought it was great, actually. I thought this coach has a pair on him.
Hey, thank you very much. Enjoy the.
Fisher's unusual wardrobe selection prompted event organizers to put the jersey up for auction.
I go, how about I go ahead and make a nice bid right now and we finalize this deal? He goes, if you do that, I'll get Jeff to sign it and I'll get Tony to sign it and they'll date it. I go, perfect.
And that's 5 in a row!
Since that controversial event, the Titans have looked suspiciously like this week's opponent, Peyton Manning's perfect Colts.
Maybe I ought to wear that jersey around a little bit. Maybe some of the good luck will rub off.
We got your number. We know your game. We own your jersey. We got your name.
We definitely woke up from a bad dream, and now we're the team that's playing like we were supposed to.
We are the Titans. On a street. You're undefeated. For your last week. We stole your magic. We're gonna win. Hey, number 18. Need number 10, 10, 10.
Young pumping, firing into the back of the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown, Titans.
It's one of those things that head coaches may do to lift their team and to maybe even protect their team in some way.
You haven't lost since that happened.
So maybe we all just show up in 18 jerseys this week.
Very excited fan, got the jersey, and the way everything has unfolded since then. It's just, there is a bit of magic in this story, for sure.
It's a win-win situation for everybody.
We got your number. We know your game. We own your jersey. We got your name. You are a winner. We've seen the proof. Come Sunday dinner, you're gonna lose. We got your number.
Music in Nashville. How about Martina McBride and her husband? I mean, they did the song for us. And if they beat the Colts today, they got to hit another hit. Not that she needs another one. That's very nice of them to do that. We appreciate Garbs learning a little country music along the way. All right, now, game. Never do that. Can the Titans ride this wave past the Colts? I mean, what do we?
Well, they certainly have a chance to ride the wave. They got the leading rusher in football. They got Vince Young. He's dynamic. The defense now playing like a Jeff Fisher coach defense. But I'm going to take this another way. I think that they can ride this wave a little bit longer. You look at all the guys, Bo Scaife, Kenny Britt, Chris Johnson, Vince Young, all very young. Defensive side of the ball, you know, evolving and getting a little bit younger. I think they have a chance to carry this for a few years. They dug such a hole for themselves. That'll be the only reason they don't make it to the playoffs. But, you know, going forward, I don't like to think that it was all Kerry Collins, but that was the only significant thing that changed, was the quarterback.
Well, I think that Jeff Fisher stuck too long with the quarterback and Kerry Collins. I mean, he's great to be what we call as a manager a Band-Aid, but they left the Band-Aid on too long. I'm pretty sure Vince Young wasn't that bad at the quarterback position in the preseason or in training camp. I wasn't there to see, but surely the way that he's playing right now and the way that the team is playing, like you say, they could continue to ride this wave well into the future, and I'm pretty sure they'll be looking into that in the offseason.
You're right. 0-6, 5-0. What's the difference? Vince. He's the quarterback. Okay, but also game planning. I think they ran the ball a little bit more. They went to the bread and butter. They're playing better on defense. You know, it's a good football team. It's good football to watch, and Jeff's having fun.
Well, one thing I'm really impressed is Vince Young's second year in that system. You really see great development. Now, no pure running quarterback is coming to the National Football League and has developed from a runner to a passer and took his team to the Super Bowl. I played with Randall Cunningham, one of the best runner-passers to ever play in the National Football League. Played with him early in his career in Philadelphia. Played with him late in his career when he had more success, even in Minnesota. I'm interested to watch Vince down the stretch develop more in the pocket, because what I believe is he really has a chance. A couple of weeks ago, what I saw, didn't think he'd be able to do it. But it's going to be interesting to see. I think he has a chance.
Let me ask you this, since you mentioned that, and I'm not comparing Vince Young to Steve Young, so don't start that.
Right.
What was Steve, though, in his career, in his fourth year? He was a guy that ran.
He was always accurate.
But Steve was, Steve in college, though, was a thrower.
Yeah,
he was always a thrower and a great athlete. Now, people never want to give Steve Young credit, but, man, he was an awesome athlete.
Here's where we got to give some credit. Two observations on one of your old guys, Jeff Fisher.
Yep.
One, it's almost like, remember when Steve McNair, he sat for 3 years with the Oilers, and then you're going to play. Now, I know Vince started as a rookie, and part of it's but essentially, here he is now in year, 4? Almost like the McNair blueprint of sit and watch for a while, now you're ready to go. They've been through this before. And has there ever been a coach that's used a bye week better than this? We're 0-6. Guys, we got a 10-game schedule. Have a good time. Nobody eliminated us. Just let's go out and just play some football. Pretty good to turn 59-0 and 0-6 into 5-6. Adam, so last week's comeback in which Vince Young had all the fourth downs had an effect on the owner as well, didn't it?
Well, Boom, no owner in football has made more headlines this season than Tennessee's Bud Adams. We saw him flip the bird to the Buffalo Bills. We saw him fine $250,000, and we saw him order in Vince Young. Well, after Vince Young led this comeback victory last week against Arizona, Bud Adams came down to the locker room and broke down in tears in front of his players, called it the greatest win in franchise history. I'd beg to differ with the Music City Miracle, but that's neither here nor there. Bud Adams did break down, cry, and you can only imagine how he'll react today if the Titans can pull the upset today over the Colts, Mort.
Well, let's do who's in and who's out, and you know who's crying?
Carolina Panthers and fantasy owners who have D'Angelo Williams on their team, because D'Angelo Williams is inactive today with an ankle injury, which means that Jonathan Stewart backs him up. Now, D'Angelo Williams had 152 yards in his first game against the Buccaneers, so Stewart gets the starts. And yes, by the way, Jake Delhomme not starting today. Matt Moreeeee is starting for the Panthers. Staying in the NFC South, Reggie Bush, as if Drew Brees needed more weapons to play with after Monday night. Reggie Bush is back for the Saints after missing a couple of games with a knee injury. He'll play there, and we'll see if the Saints have a little trouble with the Redskins outdoors today.
More than another running back, Steven Jackson's had back spasms the past couple of weeks, but he will play today against the Chicago Bears. The Rams will need him on the field to have any chance to pull an upset over the Bears. Steven Jackson in the starting lineup today for the Rams. Darius Hayward-Bay, inactive for the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders added him to the injury report on Friday night with a foot injury. They deactivated the first-round pick today, so no action for Darius Hayward-Bay today.
And for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the big news is that Ben Roethlisberger is back in the lineup, is starting at quarterback against the Raiders.
And Houston Texans running back Steve Slayton is inactive, and the Saints have made a change at kicker. Garrett Hartley, who missed the first 4 games of the year due to suspension, will be the Saints kicker today, so the Saints get another weapon with a big leg in that dome in the future games. But Garrett Hartley back today, Boom.
All right, thanks, Adam. Carney had struggled. I figured that might be coming too. Coach, that's a little Sunday stretch. We know this guy, don't we?
Chairman of the board, Peyton Manning. I tell you what, people don't understand, average fans, what this guy is accomplishing on the football field. He's running that offense out there on the field. Unbelievable.
Coach, let's stay at that same game. Other side of the ball, Keith Bullock. Do everything linebacker for the Tennessee Titans. He'll be revved up, plays just as well at the line of scrimmage as he does in pass defense.
Tommy, I'm headed to the crib. So you know I'm going to Miami, watching New England against the Miami Dolphins. Ricky Williams, the #1 offensive weapon for the Miami Dolphins with Ronnie Brown being injured. Bill Belichick does it better than anyone in the National Football League, taking away your first option. Ricky Williams, don't let him throw. Wildcat, run him all over the place today.
Well, there's Michael Vick, guys, warming up in Atlanta, talking with the man he used to play for, Arthur Blank. Of course, Vick electrified crowds. He started for the Falcons from 01 to 06. He was 38, 28, and 1. Even led the Falcons to the 2004 NFC title game where they lost to the Eagles, who, of course, he now plays for. It's come full circle a little. Vick will be one of Philadelphia's captains today, as appointed by Coach Andy Reid in a class move. The 7-4 Eagles are 1 back in the NFC East, must move forward without Brian Westbrook and Deshaun Jackson, each out with concussions. But 6-5 Atlanta doesn't want to hear about injuries. Yes, they've lost only once in the Georgia Dome in the last 2 seasons. But it's Chris Redman at quarterback, trailing Matt Ryan today as Atlanta tries to stay alive in the postseason hunt as well. No truth. Sal Paolantonio helped clean up after the SEC title game yesterday, but he is raring to go this morning. Hello, Sal.
Well, Boomer, the mess was all cleaned up when I got here this morning. Now let's clean up the lineup changes for the Atlanta Falcons, missing 5 starters on offense. Quarterback Matt Ryan, wide receiver Michael Jenkins, and running back Michael Turner, and 2 offensive linemen. Mike Smith, the head coach of the Falcons, told me very specifically that he told Chris Redman, his quarterback, they must protect the football on offense. If they give it away to the Eagles, give them a short field to work with, they will lose this football game. Now, I just had a chance to talk to Michael Vick on the field. He told me it was very surreal, very weird being in the opposing locker room, but he's very much looking forward to playing in this football game. And the Eagles want to get him a touchdown, his first of the year, in front of his old home crowd, Boomer.
Yeah, they would like to. That's been ready to go. And then you've segued us, Sal. Thank you very much. Redmond, 4th down, got the win last week. So from
Louisville.
I knew that. How could I not know that? Michael Vick in Philadelphia. We've hit December now. Our impressions of what this was from the summer to now where we are. Coach, what do you think? A success, failure? What is it?
You can't say it's a failure because he's back playing in the National Football League. I believe there's an old song, 60-minute man. I think that's what this guy is. To be effective, he's got to play in the game, and he's got to play every play. That's what he is. He's going to hurt you in a lot of ways. He's too good an athlete to sit on the bench, put him in for 3 plays. Everybody knows what the plays are. Come on, you got no chance.
Well, Coach, look, how appropriate that we're talking about how he's handled himself as a man this week. And I think it's been a success in terms of how he has grown, matured, worth ethic, ability to watch Donovan McNabb and how you handle the quarterback position, in early, out late, not a negative peep from him. Production, yes, it didn't happen, but in talking to Coach Dungy, this is what they had to do. You had to allow him to recreate himself as a person, become the person you want to be. Now, next year, you get the player, I think, that you want him to be.
Well, in terms of the experiment there in Philadelphia, I never really got it to begin with, other than, hey, here's an organization, here's a coach that believes that this player can change completely as a person. In terms of the player, I just, what is it, an insurance policy for Donovan McNabb? Okay. Is it trade bait at some point in time? Maybe not this year, but next year. I get that part, because you can't take him and turn him into a wide receiver or a running back because there's a fad going on in the league. You can't do that. He's been playing quarterback his entire career, and they got him a little bit on the cheap in terms of that. So, hey, it's a good experiment for him. I think it's great. It'll work out wonderful in the long term.
I'm all into goodwill. I'm all into giving people second and third chances, but my overall impression is I'm disappointed. Because I thought that Andy Reid, when he got Michael Vick, because there's no more creative mind in the National Football League, the ability to be able to utilize him. I know all the field, off the field growth and everything. Okay, I give him credit for that. But as a football player, I thought they would take advantage of his skills. But I believe that ended in the preseason when Donovan McNabb told the offensive coordinator, cancel it. With the throat slash, said, no, we can't do this. I believe that affected Andy Reid and the rest of the offensive staff the rest of the season, because quarterbacks, we all know, are very, very temperamental.
But don't you give Jeff Lurie, don't you give Andy Reid, even Donovan McNabb credit for the fact that for once something was more important maybe than the production? That what was most important wasn't the production, it was about getting this guy back on track.
So you think they gave him $1 million just to get his life back on track?
I'm saying that was a large part of what happened here, was bringing a guy back and putting him on the right track.
People in the National Football League don't make a living for resurrecting people's careers.
They did, and that. But as far as the football, it's not a trade bait thing. Here's what I think. I'm surprised it's not been more impact yet, but I think Andy Reid is surprised it's not been more impact yet. Maybe, and I don't know this, maybe Vic is not quarterback-wise where he thought they would be in September. And now we've turned to December. But I will say this, as Donovan McNabb is playing better, and he is playing better, you will see more of Michael Vick. They go hand in hand, I'm just telling you. And so if the Eagles get to the playoffs, they got 6, 7, 8 weeks maybe of football. Don't close the book on Vic as an Eagle, as an experiment this year yet. All right, well, we wouldn't ever want to close the book on one of the great rivalries ever. Once upon a time in the 70s, there was no greater series than the Steelers and the Raiders. The Immaculate Reception by Franco Harris, 1972, the first of 5 straight seasons they met in the playoffs. 1974, 75, and 76, they played in the AFC title game. The winner of that game went on to win the Super Bowl. That was then. This is now. After looking rather regal at 6-2, the defending Super Bowl champion Steelers have dropped 3 straight. They try to get back on track at home against 3-8 Oakland, who has scored 10 or less in 6 of their 11 games. But the issue is in Pittsburgh, due to post-concussion symptoms. Big Ben, of course, sat out Sunday night's game. The overtime loss to Baltimore. But some Steelers wondered why. Hines Ward and Big Ben said this week they're moving forward.
The 50-50 comment, I mean, it wasn't like, I was trying to say the half of the locker room was divided, that, half was mad at Ben for not playing. I don't even know if Ben even saw the interview or whatever, but I said, let me clear that with him.
He reached out to me, and I told him, I was just more hurt than anything. And, we got over it, we moved past it, and now we're preparing.
Well, I mean, they said, Chris, look, you've been in there, receiver, quarterback. Will this affect their relationship on the field, or they've been around the block enough to move along?
Well, look, Boom, I think it'll have some effect to some degree, but Mike Tomlin's there, and he's not going to let it just continue to create a monster in that locker room. But you have to watch very close today, Chris. You and I know that the quarterbacks are selfish. If you do something to them, they'll freeze you out. Not intentionally to lose a game or anything like that, but if you may be the first read, but they'll find that second and third read while you're wide open. And I'm just telling you, I've played with quarterbacks before.
We have played with quarterbacks, and we understand the give and take with that relationship. Yes. The one thing thing is, Hines Ward, with his overall attitude and his credibility in the National Football League, when he throws that rock out there, that volley, talking about his quarterback, there's a ripple effect. Now, it affected that locker room. It affected that team in the short term. I believe in the long term, though, the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is just like the NCAA tournament. All they got to do is get in and get a decent seed, and they'll be okay.
And I think that is true. You know, when you start messing with people, boom, like Ed did you in the beginning of the season, you drop on the depth chart. Back to you.
But Ed and I get along here. I didn't freeze him out, not yet. Ben sat out last week, guys, after practicing all week. So did Kurt Warner for Arizona. A week after he left the Cards' previous game with a concussion. The two Super Bowl quarterbacks. A coincidence? Or more, maybe just more awareness about being honest about injuries, huh?
Yeah, but you know, usually we think of this as a flu season. In the NFL, it's another epidemic, injuries. Whether it's a concussion, a knee injury, a severely sprained ankle, a shoulder separation, it's clear that players are going to go on to the field out of duty, out of passion. This week, Hines Ward, we know he admitted he's lied to doctors in the past to get back on the field, which is why we explored the culture that exists in this dangerous league.
Stafford looking for somewhere to go.
Yeah, get off me. And Matthew Stafford is down on the field and is not getting up. Shoulder. Your breath. Oh, shoulder. Hey, that's the timeout. I can play, right? Give me the ball. No. Yeah, help me up. I can throw the ball if you need me to throw the ball.
Probably his best play was eluding 4 team doctors on the sideline.
Takes the snap, rolls, throws, end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
It's a good thing our team doctors didn't play on the varsity because, because Matt had to work his way onto the field there.
The NFL's tough guy mentality has players like Matthew Stafford willingly playing through major injuries. But Kurt Warner dealt with a dilemma last week as he attempted to recover from a concussion he sustained the prior Sunday. Listed as questionable, Warner woke up on game day with blurred vision and a stiff neck, and says he debated whether to tell the Cardinals medical staff.
I wrestled with it when I was going down to that room to talk to him. Say, do I want to stretch the truth a little bit? Do I want to not tell him everything so I can play? It's hard to choose to sit out, because you wonder if your teammates second guess you.
Ben Roethlisberger also suffered a concussion in Week 11. The following week, he told Steelers team doctors he was suffering from post-exertion headaches.
It's tough because you do want to be out there and play because I want to be out there with my guys. I've always been one of those guys that want to be out there no matter what.
Despite practicing all week, the Steelers quarterback was ruled out for the Ravens game. Unlike Roethlisberger, many players don't disclose the extent of their injury so they can stay on the field.
There's codes that come with playing tough games like football that kind of conflict at times with things that are utmost important, like head injuries.
You have to have a philosophy that says you're not going to put a player on the field at risk of further injuring himself, period. We're going to wait and make sure the players completely overcome the injury.
Even with the understanding of the coaches, the NFL culture perpetuates an unwritten rule that toughness should prevail over any injury.
You don't want to let your team down, but also we're independent contractors, and you feel like when you're not out there, they look at it in a certain way of this guy's always hurt or he's missed so many games.
Some players say roster status can play a big role in injury disclosure. The 53rd player on a team might be less likely to report an injury for fear of losing his roster spot.
Those guys would tend to have the feeling of maybe that they need to, unless it's very serious, to protect themselves so that they can protect their job. If you're a starter or a marquee name guy and you're hurt, hey coach, I'm hurt, man. I need to back off, and there's an understanding there.
Kurt Warner inactive because of the concussion.
Where it gets hard is when you put it in the player's hands, because the easy thing to do is to play. The hard thing is to make that decision where you feel like you could be hurting your team. The key is you have to be honest with yourself, you have to be honest with your staff so they can do the best thing for you now and moving forward. And then they have to feel good enough and have enough courage, I think, to make the right decision, for the player.
Of course, the league announced a new concussion policy effective this week, and it's simple. If a player leaves the game with a concussion-related injury, he has any symptoms, he's not going back into that game by orders of the doctor, of course. They're in control on this one. A couple of things, like the flu bug, they were talking about expanding game day rosters. I think next year you might see them allow a few more game day roster spots open to address that so coaches don't stress out on this one, Boomer. And the other thing is, we're talking about big name players. This affects the middle class and lower class of the rosters. And are those guys going to be truthful? I think that's a big question.
Well, that's very fair, Mort, because those guys are the ones that they don't play, that we might never hear from them. So let me go to you guys who all played and played brilliantly and played hurt, I know. What pressure is there to disclose or not to disclose, Keith?
Well, I think it's all subjective. Everybody is a little bit different. I played at the Dallas Cowboys, and I remember one game against the New York Giants. I go out there, and we're not going to playoffs. Nothing was going to happen. It was just a meaningless game at the end of the year. I go out there, and I had a lot riding on getting 1,000 yards, some extra incentives, money. I break my ankle in the middle of the first quarter, I think it was. I had 3 more quarters to get to that point where I would get those 19 yards. I tried my best to stay on the field, but the doctor said no. I didn't want to tell him, but just a little bit of hurt that was there, forced me to go out the game. But that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to play, not only to help the team, but I also had an incentive there to be on the football field.
Well, now, see, I think that my line of thinking, and I know different generations, but my line of thinking is the thinking that the league is up against. And that is do everything, do anything, risk anything to help you guys win a football game. So if, in fact, you come to me on Saturday morning and you say, how do you feel, Tom? And I've got a slight headache, yes, I'm going to lie about that because I want to go out and play and I know my body better than anybody. I want to get this straight. Are you saying that you were playing for the money? Because I don't want to get it twisted.
I'm going to always play for the money. I'm not out there to play for free, no matter what. But I'm also a guy.
See, I never thought about the money.
I'm playing. But that's not it, though, TJ.
Yeah, but I think there are guys who feel that way now.
Did you just hear the dude say that I don't want to come out the game because I have to hold my spot, roster spot? And why is that? Because he has to feed his family, he has to make money. If he decides that he's not going to play, they're going to look for somebody else, TJ. It's different, man. It just is. It's hard to accept, I know, but it's different.
Listen, I had a teammate of mine, Chris Walsh. We played 8 years together. Special teams, 3rd, 4th receiver, do everything. And it's about commitment. But it ain't about commitment to the team. It's about commitment to you, to you, to you. All right? And I'm committed not only to you as your teammate, but also to your family. Because you're trying to feed your kids. You're trying to take care of your wife. You got bills to pay. So I'm not telling. Me and Chris Walsh, we had a pact. We know on Mondays, CC going to be banged up. Might not practice on Wednesday. He going to take care of me. Towards the end of the week, all right, I'm going to take care of him. Any injuries I got, I only talk to him about only injuries he got. We keep it in-house so we can practice. He's a special teams player. He is not going to make $100 million like Ben. He don't have a choice. Can I take, I got a headache. I got a stinger. You don't do that. So my commitment is to my teammates, and I'm going to lie. I'm not going to tell them, and we treat ourselves. After the game, I get a couple bags of ice, put it in my tub at the crib, sit in it. Next day, Chris, you hurt? No, I'm fine. Because that's the way it is in the National Football League. You got to protect it.
Well, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, you never tell anybody anything you don't have to. And when Coach Hallis drafted me, he said, this is your position. You're going to be my tight end. And I took that very seriously. That was my position. Nobody else was going to take that position. If it meant I had to play hurt, I played hurt. It doesn't matter. Behind me was a more talented athlete than me, but he never got a chance to show it. I wasn't coming off the field if I didn't have to.
But the difference is we have to remember, we're talking about head injuries. That's the wild card. That's where the commissioner,
that's the wild card.
That's where the league's going to earn their money. It's head injury.
But I had that going in, so it didn't matter.
You got it coming out, too.
Well, you talk about your era, Coach. Here's a guy that you might certainly remember because you played against him often. Jim Marshall.
Yep.
Star defensive end for the Purple People Eaters of the Vikings, who played in 282 straight games, speaking of playing hurt. Amazing. Tonight, we're in the same Minnesota Purple. Brett Favre will play in his 283rd straight regular season game, the most ever for a position player, 2nd all time. Favre and the 10-1 Vikings are in the big toaster to face the 7-4 Arizona Cardinals in the Sunday Nighter. What we don't know yet in this matchup of NFC North and NFC West leaders is if Kurt Warner will go. And he and Matt Leinart, you know, split snaps at practice this week after Warner was a late scratch last Sunday, more just detailed. Leinart went in, played very well, we should add. It's been a long time since Warner was Favre's unknown backup in training camp in Green Bay in 1994. On to the other elements of the game where Adrian Peterson does everything well except hold on to the football. To our IBM Insight Center and Merrill Hodge.
Well, thanks, Boom. As per usual, we've been digging and delving all week trying to help find solutions for issues that exist in the NFL. This week, we chose the Viking offense, and we're going to focus on their factor back, Adrian Peterson. Now, this one was somewhat personal to me because we look at Adrian Peterson and his fumbles. How can we go about helping him? But first, you have to look at where he is in the NFL right now. He leads the NFL as far as running backs go with 6 fumbles. Way too many fumbles, especially as we get closer to the playoffs, and in the playoffs, the margin of error is even shorter. So here's the solution. When you look at turnovers and what they do to your team, this year they've already given up 13 points off of his fumbles. So how he carries the football might just help him. The first thing you don't want to do as a ball carrier, carry the ball too flat. Too much ball's exposed, arm's not very strong. You don't even want to go high and tight to the cheek. Still, too much ball's exposed. High and tight to the chest is a much better way to carry the football as a runner because your body helps protect the football. Your arm's in great strength, not much ball for defenders to attack. So if Adrian Peterson can practice this technique, get better at it, especially in traffic, I think Adrian Peterson will have fewer fumbles and he can still be the violent physical runner that he already is.
All right, Merrill, thank you. Well, I mean, Adrian Peterson, he's one of a kind, but guys, Chris, Coach, will fumbles eventually catch up to the Vikings? Will it cost them?
Well, he's a great football player, Chris, but it's going to diminish his greatness. Let me tell you something. The first thing I learned in 8th grade, if you're carrying a football here, the defender's coming from this side, you use this arm as a weapon. You do the other thing. Now, when you get in traffic, you do this. It's not too complicated now. You want to carry it loose like he does, he carries it in this arm when he's going into traffic this way. That's a mistake. The ball is going to come out. He can't afford to fumble. They can't overcome that.
What Coach and Merrill are talking about, some of the basic techniques in the National Football League. And I don't believe you can be the greatest or one of the greatest when you don't master one of the basic skills. Touched the football a lot in my career, don't believe in it. Actually, I tell people it's against my religion to drop the football. You don't want turnovers. And as we get down the stretch of the season, don't be surprised if Coach Childress starts to put Chester Taylor in some of those key situations.
Well, here's the other thing. There was a running back in the league with the New York Giants, Tiki Barber, who really had a problem falling in football. He cured that problem. He worked on it. You got to concentrate. You got to think about it. I would put a phone call in if I was Adrian Peterson right to Tiki Barber right now.
Boom. Back to you with a nice tight spiral, homie.
As only you could toss. And now, Chris, it's December. A burning question. How about them Cowboys? When the calendar hits December 1st, Dallas becomes El Paso? Since 2006, Tony Romo would quarterback their 5-10 in the regular and postseason. Their last playoff win was 96. From 1997 on, they are 19-39. Now this year, the Cowboys' vow is going to be different, and they've been playing that way. Let's give them a lot of credit, Wade Phillips and company. 8-3 leads the NFC East. They've won 5 of 6, and they've been off for 10 days after Thanksgiving. So have the New York Football Giants, and they hope that they have figured something out. Because a 5-0 start has turned into a 1-5 run, in which in those 6 games, they've allowed 32 points a game. Eli Manning's foot may be worse than it appears. Running backs hurt. New middle linebacker. Changes galore on the defensive line. Dallas at the desperate G-men. To the swamps of Jersey and Rachel Nichols.
Hey, Boomer, this is how desperate the Giants have gotten. 3 starting spots on defense could go to new faces. Not even 2-time Pro Bowler Osi Umenyiora is safe. He practiced with the second team this week, and defensive tackle Barry Caulfield said, quote, players are fearful of their jobs. A little bit better news on offense. Running back Ahmad Bradshaw listed as questionable, but he tells me he plans to play today. As for the Cowboys, a little extra motivation. Now, earlier this season when the Giants beat them, Eli Manning signed a wall in the visitors' locker room. Eli tells me, look, this was at the behest of a Cowboys locker room attendant. He thought it was going to be like in Philadelphia, where lots of players signed the wall wall, but the Cowboys say no one on their franchise asked him to sign, and they're actually seeing the fact that he put the score there as a taunting gesture. Boomer, as Wade Phillips put it, what goes around comes around in this league.
Well, okay, Rachel, and you got there early. You got a good parking spot there. Look, Dallas playing great. They're leading the division. The Giants are trying to hang in there. Key to the game. Let's look at a key to the game.
Well, Boom, when the Giants were the best team in football, when they won the Lombardi Trophy, it was because they were able to pressure Tom Brady into winning that game, and that's what they got to be able to do to Romo today. They've got to be able to get to the quarterback, get him on the ground. That helps the pass defense. It helps every area of your football team.
The key to this football game is the overall speed of the Dallas Cowboys. We always talk about how they're the most athletic team, but their overall speed. Miles Austin at the wide receiver. Felix Jones at the running back. The big plays to this offense makes the Cowboys a frightening team.
And the key to the game for me is the Dallas Cowboys defensive line, DeMarcus Ware and Jay Racklett, getting after Eli Manning and putting the pressure on him, putting those offensive linemen in his lap, allowing the defensive secondary to hold those guys up by putting pressure on him, forcing turnovers. The Cowboys can get it done.
Okay, I go on the other side of the ball. I go to the Giants offensive line. When they were a good football team, they protected the quarterback and they ran the ball effectively. Right now, they're not doing the job. Pass protection-wise or running the football, they've got to step up.
Well, you talk about running the ball effectively. My key to the game is, did you see that Thursday night game in Thanksgiving in Denver? Brandon Jacobs going east-west like he's Barry Sanders. I don't mean once, I mean 4 or 5 times. That's not his M.O. Big fella, crash forward, even if it's not quite what we saw last year. Now, the Giants did get some good news, as Rachel just reported, that Bradshaw is going to try to play. But I've been waiting to see this guy all year. It's a guy they picked up from San Diego, Gartrell Johnson. I have a hunch. I just have a hunch on a running back that might do something. And by the way, Pierce is out. They've changed middle linebackers again. Jonathan Goff, second year, new middle linebacker too. Adam, and there's more, but wait, there's more in this game. Week 2, the Giants won 33-31. Justin Tuck and Flozell Adams got to know each other, didn't they?
Well, Boom, you were talking about the keys to the game. This is the matchup to watch. Justin Tuck versus Flozell Adams. You'll remember that Flozell Adams tripped Justin Tuck and drew a fine for the play, injured Justin Tuck's shoulder. It's still not right even today. Justin Tuck said at the time he's going to get back Flozell Adams the next time they play. Now, this week he was much more mild and diplomatic about it, but that is the matchup to watch today. Justin Tuck versus Flozell Adams.
He's pissed off.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, we'll see that Cowboys-Giants, it's back, huh? Well, some of the most ferocious defensive players on the field seem quite different away from it. My partner here of 23 years, Tom Jackson, would certainly qualify. Ferocious on, nice guy, we think, off the field. So, I think with your old teammate Dick Butkus, pretty nice.
Oh yeah,
off the field,
absolutely.
Right?
You're right.
Right, but certainly that's the case when you meet Dallas's DeMarcus Ware, who led the league a year ago with 20 sacks, whose smile could light up a room, a smile that hardly gives away the pain and loss that most folks could not imagine. E60's Michael Smith has his story.
There's a perception of everybody in the NFL gets into trouble and does bad things. NFL guys are, gangsters or whatever. Some guys are family men, like me.
In 2005, all of DeMarcus Ware's dreams were coming true. That March, he married his high school sweetheart, Taniqua. In April, he was drafted by the Cowboys. In May, he graduated from Troy University, the first member of his family to graduate from college. And in June, he and Taniqua found out they were going to be parents.
I was just really excited. We immediately called everyone, and they were just as excited as we were.
But later that summer, with DeMarcus in the middle of his first NFL training camp, Taniqua suffered a miscarriage.
I'd had friends that had similar situations and went on to have a healthy baby. So we just decided, okay, well, when the time is right, I guess it'll happen again.
The next year, bam, we get pregnant again. We're even more happier now. We're thinking in our mind, oh man, okay, let's get past this first trimester because we didn't last time. So we get past the first trimester and we're like, okay, that's good.
In August 2006, 5 months into Taniqua's second pregnancy, and 2 weeks prior to the start of DeMarcus' second NFL season, doctors discovered the Ware's male fetus had no kidneys and wouldn't be able to survive outside the womb.
There was no chance of, trying to wait it out or finish out the pregnancy. Either the pregnancy was going to terminate itself or we had to terminate it. So we decided to initiate the process ourselves.
And you had to go forth and deliver?
Yes, I actually had to deliver the baby, epidural, the whole 9 yards. The pain, it was just as excruciating as an 8-pound baby being delivered.
After the delivery, Ware held his stillborn son in his arms. He and Taniqua named the baby Omar and placed his ashes in an urn in their bedroom.
I knew now that I have a little angel in my life. Omar, he's driving me, he's pushing me even more. When I felt tired outside, I said, Omar, if he had one more breath, what would he do? He'll be living right now. So get your butt up. I know you're tired. Come on, let's go.
Specialists found no reasons for the two failed pregnancies, and in September 2007, DeMarcus and Taniqua discovered they were expecting for a third time. That season, the Cowboys won 12 of their first 13 games on their way to the NFC's best record. 3 days before the Cowboys' first playoff game, 5 months into Taniqua's pregnancy, the heart of the fetus inexplicably stopped beating.
I just broke down. There was nothing I could say or do, it was done. So, and we had done all the monitoring over the time. I was in the doctor's office all the time. Everything was perfectly fine. And all of a sudden, no heartbeat.
In January 2008, while the Cowboys hosted a divisional playoff game against the Giants, Taniqua, still carrying her deceased baby boy, watched from the stands as DeMarcus and his teammates' season came to a bitter end. The next day, the Wares returned to the hospital to deliver their second stillborn child.
You feel like you just lost a part of your spirit. When you're looking at that ultrasound, you see it moving, you see it growing, and you see like the face, you see a little facial feature, so you're building that bond in that relationship. And all of a sudden, when that's gone, you feel like you lose something.
Just 1 day later, DeMarcus and Taniqua received unexpected news. A local pastor told them about an expectant mother in the 8th month of her pregnancy who was looking for a family to adopt her baby.
It was like I didn't have to grieve. That void that was lost was immediately filled. And our minds immediately focused to this baby that was gonna need a home.
The Wares made arrangements for a private adoption, and on February 29th, 2008, the birth mother delivered a baby girl. DeMarcus and Taniqua named her Marley, after his favorite reggae singer.
From day one, when we seen Marley, it was like, that's my baby. Dad. And then the first time I changed the pamper, I said, oh man, I'm in trouble.
DeMarcus Ware is above all about family. A family that is a portrait of love lost and love found.
I see me. I see me. I see love, I see, compassion, I see wantedness. Like, that's my dad, he wants me. I just see all those things in her eyes.
Thank you, Michael. Things continue to look up for DeMarcus Ware. He became on-field highest-paid Cowboy ever when he recently agreed to a 6-year contract extension. Today, he plays against the Giants with a cast protecting a small fracture on his left wrist. But DeMarcus and Taniqua and Marley said that they plan to expand their family, either by another biologic attempt or by adoption. So, guy you can root for, I would say. That's easy to say. We'll be back.
That's Jared Allen there. It doesn't appear that he wants to be involved in the main event, but he does a lot.
They're all greased up. That's skills.
The story's coming later.
And Titans or Colts, Cowboys or Giants.
Hey, what that Romo mean on the back?
Superman? Plus, who's primed for a big day? Game Fix and Game Breakers are next. Insight Center is brought to you by IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit ibm.com/smarterplanet.
The summer break may be over, but the summer heat is still on. College football is on fire, with teams battling for that #1 spot. Watch powerhouses like Ohio State, Wisconsin, Penn State, and Michigan battle for the Big Ten Conference title. Touchdown, Ohio State! In the Southland, the SEC heats up with action from LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, and returning national champions, the Florida Gators. And step out of the gridiron with the Pac-10 Conference and see USC, Cal, Oregon, Arizona State, UCLA, and Washington battle for conference supremacy. Up for grabs and it's intercepted. This is American football played from the heart. Cheer your favorite team on all season long. College football lives here on ESPN America.
Oh, what a throw by Joe Flacco. Flacco throws end zone. Touchdown! Flacco to throw. Quarterback throw. He runs it. Touchdown! He's got a man wide open. Mason's there. He's got it inside the 5. Touchdown! Ravens! He wants Flacco. He throws it to the 25. Flacco has it. 10, 5, and he's down there. He can do it all.
NFL on ESPN America.
See those guys over there? They're always trying to tackle me. They think they know all my moves. Come on.
Whoa. Get out of it, man. Can't believe you just did that.
Think again. Pick me.
Did you just run up us?
Devin Hester, the Chicago Bears' dynamic return man, added wide receiver to his list of abilities in 2008. After hauling in his first receiving touchdown of the year in Week 3, Hester took over as a starter and showed why he is one of the most explosive players in the NFL. With new quarterback Jay Cutler at the helm, Hester looks to become one of the NFL's premier receiving weapons.
You wonder how I practice keeping both feet down?
Go.
Still wondering?
For the widest choice of official North American sports merchandise, for the perfect gift to collect or just to look good and support your team, visit espnamerica.com.
You are watching Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM.
How fitting is this? The great Jim Brown, whose rushing numbers for the Cleveland Browns we all knew as a little kid. 12,312 yards for his career, best all time. These days, Brown stands 8th. And into Cleveland for a rare visit come the Chargers and LaDainian Tomlinson. If LaDainian can get 56 yards today, he will vault past the great Jim Brown, and isn't that something to tell your kids one day? LT and the Chargers churning up wins these days the way Jim Brown churned up yards. 6 in a row, the Chargers are 8-3. Now they have November down. What about December? Did you know that Norv Turner's Bolts, Tom, Key, have won 9 in a row in December, and San Diego's won 14 in a row in December? Tommy, they're at 1-10 Cleveland, but how the schedule makers, how do they know LT in Cleveland with this stuff with Jim Brown?
Well, sometimes you just get lucky, Boom. I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, thought that Jim Brown, and still think he's the greatest running back to ever play. The tip, historical. Enjoy LT and what he's doing now, scoring the touchdowns, has the burst back. But for you young kids, just like Boom said, you will never forget this, and maybe it will inspire you to do the same as me, play in the NFL.
Well said, Tommy. A game back in the AFC West, the team you played for, the Denver Broncos. They're 7-4. They snapped a 4-game losing streak Thanksgiving night by belting the Giants. Today they're at 3-8 Kansas City, where the Broncos are only 2-8 the last decade. Hard to believe this is the first meeting of the season since their last game. 2 new head coaches, 2 new quarterbacks, 2 new GMs, 2 new offensive coordinators, 2 new defensive coordinators. But Chris, 2 guys not new to each other on opposite sides of the field today.
No, Boom, absolutely not. We talk about made men in the National Football League, but these 2 guys made each other. Castle and McDaniels will always be tied together. Castle was turned into a legitimate NFL quarterback by McDaniels. Now, McDaniels was turned into the hottest candidate by Castle with his 11 wins last year. Got a tip for you, though, Josh. Check out your game plan from last week against the G-Men. 40 rushes.
Well, we'll be looking at that and much more on our Primetime Sports Center. All we do is talk football. Coach and Maryland Company kick it off, then we kick it around up till 8:30, right until the kickoff in the evening. We got everything that happened during the day. I hope you can join us because we really have a good time and all we do is football. And after our show tonight, the Bowl Selection Show powered by Chevy Silverado. That's at 8 Eastern. All 34 bowl matchups announced. Reese Davis, Lou Holtz, Mark May, Jesse Palmer. So join us for Pro Football and the Bowl Selection Show at 8 Eastern Time. Jared Allen of the Vikings leads the NFC in sacks with 12.5, but maybe it's his inner quarterback that helps him towards being such a premier pass rusher. Kenny treks to Minnesota to find out if Allen is really more of a passer in this week's main event.
Cutler shotgun on second down, back to pass, ball batted in the air, intercepted by Jared Allen, and he tossed the ball forward. That's a bad mistake. Jared Allen 0 of 1 passing this year.
Jared, no offense, but your play was something like my 8-year-old daughter would do if she played in the NFL.
Well, dude, no offense taken. I mean, that play was awesome. So it means your daughter's really awesome. She has great instincts. You should be a proud father. She's going to go places in this world.
So you think a guy should be able to, like, whatever, pick up a ball and just, hey, I'm going to throw it down the field, just whatever, just anything?
It works in Europe. That's all I'm saying.
What do you mean?
France.
They do it over there?
Yep.
They do?
And France isn't even that awesome.
Hike! I want the good balls, not the stupid kicker balls. They're all greased up. Got skills. I'm good.
They got on me for what I did. Favre throws into coverage all the time. No one ever gets on him for that.
You know, I'm responsible for 90% of the most ridiculous plays in football history, but I have to admit, that's the most ridiculous play I've ever seen. Abomination.
Favre's the all-time leader in interceptions. You know how many interceptions I have in my career? 0. Fat donut hole.
Hike! Slipped.
Come on, let's do it again. Let's do it again. I was born to play quarterback. Look at this body. I'm like Dante Culpepper, like almost exactly like him, except I have a mullet.
Yeah, but that was just so stupid. That wasn't like good quarterbacking.
Are you kidding? So you're thinking you could do better, old-timer? You're like older than Brett Favre. Really? I challenge you to a quarterback contest of epic proportion.
First, I gotta warm up my football. Target challenge! Long throw challenge!
He's that old, man. Oh! Break something.
Great contest.
Yeah, whatever. Quarterbacking sucks! Going back to D-line.
He's crazy.
Jared and Kenny. I don't know on the scale who tips what. Jared's a good sport to do that every week. Well, that's for sure. But let's go down to Miami. New England, an early kickoff at Miami. A lot of question Michael Smith has. Tom Brady, question about him late in the week. What do we know?
Guys, the Patriots may be trying to downplay the significance of Tom Brady's finger injury, but I just watched him in pregame warmups, and it is clearly an issue. He was grabbing for his finger after every throw. He appeared to be tinkering with his grip on the football, and his throws weren't characteristically wobbly, especially his deep throws. It's definitely something to keep an eye on in this game.
All right, Michael, thank you. Well, look, it's a 2-game moratorium. They fired my friend Dick Duran. I couldn't pick him. Of course, I got back on him Thursday, the Bills, and they lost. I'm looking up at you guys. So with admiration, let's go to our picks now. Our Cowboys-Giants.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. They're more talented.
I don't like the way the Giants are playing. I'm going with the boys in December.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. A lot of pass rush after Eli.
How about those Cowboys?
You're all on the cow. I got to make up ground anyway. G-men. I'm telling you, they play everybody in the division. Let's see. Titans at the Colts. Is this the day the Colts lose?
I'm taking the most dangerous man in football, Peyton Manning. Colts.
18.
2 heads better than 1. I got the Titans.
2 are better than 1. I agree with Key. Titans.
Ooh. Dangerous.
Close game.
It's a monster.
You can go broke going against these undefeated teams. Colts win a close game. Patriots at Dolphins. At Brady, your finger?
Patriots don't lose 2 games in a row. Patriots.
These quarterbacks in this drama, I'm still going with the Pats.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with the Pats. I'm not listening to anything Brady's talking about with fingers.
I went with the Pats. I'm going to change because I want to keep my Sunday record real bad. I want to take the Dolphins.
Patriots. They can salt the division up with a win here. I think they do that. All right, unanimous picks. All on the Saints. All on the Vikings. Of course, we don't know Warner yet. All on the Steelers. All on the Chargers. LT, maybe historic day for him. Game balls, Tommy. Well, not game balls, but
game breaker.
Game breaker, game ball. We're ahead of the curve.
I'm going with Joey Porter down in Miami against the New England Patriots. If you are going to have success against that football team, it has to be pressure, not token pressure, CC. Real pressure.
And if you're going to have pressure, you better have some coverage. I'm going with the old school cover corner, straight off the street. Guy used to guard me in Minnesota when he was in Green Bay. And the truth of the matter, I watched him on Monday night, and I think he's better now. Unbelievable game by Mike McKenzie. Tackling, pursuing to the football, making plays. You got to give it to the old school guy.
To make it easy on yourself, you got to have some pass rush. I'm going to Dallas Cowboys, DeMarcus Russell. DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Russell. He has to get in the show. DeMarcus Russell.
Come on.
DeMarcus 1.5 sacks in 75 games. He's going after the quarterback today.
Well, I'm going down to Miami, and I'm going with Ricky Williams. If they're going to win this football game, they've got to run it. They've got to run it early, and they've got to run it off. And I'm going to make this tip. He will throw the ball again. I don't know if it'll be good or bad, but he will throw it again.
Tell you what. Avant to have a big-time game breaker, so I'm going with Jason Avant.
Hey.
Big game last week.
Yes.
Atlanta's corners, I don't know. Deshaun Jackson, actually Matthew and I'm with them. I thought of it first. I'm sorry. Back with a morsel or two when we return.
This is Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM.
Starward Preferred Guest presents a spectacular winter promotion offering up to 40% off at participating hotels across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East when paying with your MasterCard. Enjoy your stay at Sheraton, 4 Points by Sheraton, W, Aloft, Le Méridien, Westin, the Luxury Collection, and St. Regis. Book now and pay with your MasterCard. More details on spg.com/MasterCardTV.
NFL on ESPN America.
ESPN America is your home for live college football.
Holy cow, what a play.
Every Saturday, join the Game Day crew as they travel across North America.
Touchdown, Notre Dame.
Covering the best matchups in the college football calendar.
Touchdown, Oklahoma. What a great call.
College Football Saturdays on ESPN America.
Winner goes to the Super Bowl. Warner takes it to pitch to Arrington. He's going to throw. He's going to throw it back to Kurt. Far side of the 25. Now Warner going deep. Airing it out. Middle of the field. Vince is there. He caught it at the 10. Touchdown! Unbelievable.
The Arizona Cardinals are the NFC champions. When nobody else believed in us, you guys did, and we're going to the Super Bowl.
NFL on ESPN America.
Sunday NFL Countdown is presented by IBM. Let's build a smarter planet. Visit ibm.com/smarterplanet. And in part by T. Rowe Price, understanding the connections of today's complex global economy. Invest with confidence.
2 questions. Are you ready for some football? And the second question, you ready for the Keglers? They're coming up next. We'll see you tonight on the Blintz and Primetime Sports Center.
It's ESPN America, your home for live NFL.